Hello and welcome to our session number 2, beginning tonight of 5 in a row of Jazz Tales. Very, very happy to have with me this evening Sara Jones, who happens to be from the Easton, Maryland area. And I know we've had some people here that are going to watch tonight, and so welcome. And let me tell you a little bit about Sara. I'm so happy that she's joining me tonight. She's just one of those people that fits perfectly with what we do at Jazz Alive and what we're trying to do with Jazz Tales. She's the first place winner of the Billie Holiday Vocal Competition, semi-finalist in the American Traditions Competition. She's toured 49 states and performed in numerous concert halls across the country. She's been a soloist with the National Symphony, the Cincinnati Pops, and the Ravinia Festival Orchestra under Emile Decoux and Eric Kunzel. Wow. Solo performances on the Esplanade with Keith Lockhart and the Boston Pops. In the Baltimore, Washington area, she's been with the Jazz Ambassadors and on the stages of the Hippodrome Theater, the Meyerhoff Symphony Hall, Strathmore, and Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. She's also a little intimidating to me because she began her career on the piano, and I know she's a really great piano player as well. So I'm just a little bit, but we'll be okay. After graduation, she went on to be in the Soldiers Chorus with the United States Army Field Band, my alma mater as well. And her debut CD, Daydream A Little, she'll tell you about it in a bit. And if all of that weren't enough, she's also a professor at Towson University where she teaches jazz and commercial voice. And she directs the Towson Vocal Jazz Ensemble. I'm very happy to have with us this evening the wonderful vocalist Sara Jones. Welcome, Sara.
Hello, thanks for having me, Fred. Looking forward to this. It'll be fun.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to get started tonight with a tune by Rodgers and Hart. This is called Have You Met Miss Jones? Welcome, everyone.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Have you met Miss Jones? Someone said as we shook hands, she was just Miss Jones to me. Then I said, Miss Jones, you're a girl who understands. I'm a man who must be free. And all at once I lost my breath, and all at once was scared to death. And all at once I owned the earth and sky. Now I've met Miss Jones, and we'll go on meeting till we die, Miss Jones and I. Miss Jones to me. Then I said, Miss Jones, you're a girl who understands. I'm a man who must be free. And all at once I lost my breath, and all at once was scared to death. And all at once I owe the earth and sky. Jones and I.
Yes, Sara.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're going to say hi to a few people here. First of all, we got Netta and David up in Montville, New Jersey. Good evening. Thank you. They say good evening, Fred and Sara. Steve and Laurie up in Easton, Pennsylvania.
Awesome.
Not Easton, Maryland. Rena and Mike up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Janet and Lou in Nutley, New Jersey. Yes, glad to be back, Lou. Thank you. Rena, thank you so much. Ed Ruffeld from Washington, D.C., a 1987 graduate of Towson State University.
Yes. Woohoo!
And Stephen Sand, a wonderful start to the concert, Stephen says. Stephen's new to, when I saw him, that he purchased, I saw Centerville, Maryland, I believe.
Awesome, Steve. Thanks for
being
with us.
Thanks for being with us. Yes, thank you. Next, let me get to the right screen here. There we go. Don't need to always see me.
Oh, that's okay.
Next, we're going to do You'd Be So Nice to Come Home To. Is that
Yes,
what we're going to do?
yeah, let's do it.
Cole Porter. This is a 1943 film, Something to Shout About. Mm-hmm. Is there something special about this tune that is one of the reasons you like doing this one?
You know, I just like the tune, first of all, and I love to do as much Cole Porter as possible because he has such great melodies.
Yes.
Just his life was such an interesting life, and all the composing that he did, he's really a real treasure for the American Songbook. And but I always like to do it when I come home to Easton, St. Michael's, wherever, the Eastern Shore, because I just love being from here, and I had a great childhood growing up, so I like to come home, and I come home a lot. So
well, that's good.
It's nice, as soon as you start driving over the Bay Bridge, I just feel a little bit more relaxed.
That's why I live here.
I know. And the water. I like to see all the people out on the boats.
Right.
Maybe one day they'll invite me or something like that. Something.
So here's You'd Be So Nice to Come Home To by Cole Porter.
Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Come home to. You'd be so nice by the fire, while the breeze on high sang a lullaby. You'd be all that I could desire, under stars chill by the winter, under an August moon burning above. You'd be so nice. You'd be paradise to come bossa.
You'd be so nice to come home to. Yes, that's what I thought. Centerville, Maryland. Yes, Stephen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Appreciate it. Next we have on the list, assuming we're sticking with it.
Yeah, let's stick with it. Let's go with it.
Yeah, and we did this one with Tommy last week. Let me get to the
really?
screen. Yeah, there we go.
That's a man with good taste. That man knows a lot of tunes. So do you, by the way.
Well, yeah.
I remember the first time working with you. I mean, I know, like, they call them sidemen. I think you should get a better term than side. Like side.
Then we'd have to make more money.
I agree with you because you have lots more notes than I do. But, it's sort of like the job for those of us that don't play jazz all the time is they have to know a absolute ton of tunes. And we just walk in, I start calling them, give a key, and they just go. So I think that is an amazing skill, and you and Tommy are incredible.
Well,
I admire thee.
Thank you. Well, this is as he said when we did it last time, 1924 Vincent Yeomans, and so many musicians have done this tune, and it's such a fun tune to play. And a lot of folks, they kind of toss it off, and maybe I've been playing it since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was a fun tune to play. I never thought it was one of those tunes that was kind of like schlocky and I don't want to play that.
Right,
maybe some of it's associated with the tap dancing and all that. But even then, I think somebody that can do that to this tune is so cool.
Yes, anyone should try tap dancing at least once. If you can actually do it, it's super fun. And even if you can't do it, it's just fun to do it.
Right.
Yeah. So I love this tune. My favorite drink in the whole wide world is, I'll show everyone, tea. And I always tell folks on concerts, like, I like tea with a little Grand Marnier in it. So
there we go.
that always just gets a little extra tea.
There we go.
But anyway, this is just regular old tea.
I'm all good if it's a little bit in there.
Yeah, cool. But I'm with you. Like, this is a classic tune. And, I think sometimes a lot of these ideas of, like, well, this is so cheesy and this is so trite or whatever, it's because, like, this person has decided that's what it is.
Right.
But, like, with all music, whether it's classical or jazz or, heavy metal or whatever, if you just sit down and put in what you can put into it without putting those preconceived ideas, you'd be really surprised what you'll find. So I always tell students that. It's like, well, this might be kind of like a cheesy tune you think it is, but, like, try it.
Right.
Right. And bring what you can to it. And then maybe it won't be what you thought.
Right. Well, anybody that says that, I just give them the recording of Bart Tatum playing this tune. And
exactly.
It's all over.
They just don't know.
Yeah, right. Here we go. T for two.
Okay. So we'll do the verse too. Did I give that too?
You did not.
Oh, is it just one page?
Maybe.
Oh, don't worry about it. We can just do it.
No, it's here. Yes.
Oh, is it there?
Sorry.
No worries. So it's pretty, like, rubato-ish. And then, shall we swing this or cha-cha this?
Wherever you'd like.
Let's just swing it. Let's easy swing.
Yes. Cool. All right.
Okay. I'm discontented with homes that are rented, and so I've invented my own. Darling, this place is a lover's oasis, where life's weary chase is unknown. Far from the cry of the city, where flowers pretty caress the streams, cozy to hide in, to live side by side, and don't let it abide in my dreams. 1, 2, 1, 2. Picture you upon my knee, just T for two and two for tea, me for you and you for me alone. Nobody near us to see us or hear us, no friends or relations on weekend vacations. We won't have it know that we own a telephone, my dear. Day will break and you'll awake and start to bake a sugar cake for me to take for all the girls to see. one for two, and two for tea. Just me for you and you for me alone. Nobody near us to see us or hear us. No friends or relations on weekend vacations. We won't have it known that we on a telephone, my dear. Day will break and you'll awake and start to bake a sugar cake for me to take for all the girls to see. We will raise a family, a boy for you, a girl for me. Can't you see how happy we would be? We will raise a family, a boy for you, a girl for me. Can't you see how happy we would be?
Yeah. Just like we rehearsed it, folks. Peter, down in Louisville, Kentucky. T for two has such a beautiful verse. Yes, it does. It does. Thank you for doing it. Yes. Peter, good to see you. Thank you. Ed, thank you so much. Next, we have Girl from Ipanema.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Jobim, anything particular on this one that you want to
You know, this kind of goes along with what we were saying about tunes that some people are like, I don't want to play that. I'm not going to lie, there are nights where I'm like, I really don't feel like doing Fly Me to the Moon today. Like, you know, because we do it a lot. So sometimes it just, you know. But, you know, when somebody asks for it, I always do it because, you know, it means something to that person. So That's what we do as musicians. We sort of channel that and say, oh, you know what? This is not about what I feel like doing. This is what they want us to do.
Right.
So a lot of times whenever I would call this tune, people are kind of like, and I'm like, come on, you guys. It's really a great tune. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of folks, they sort of hear like they hear this as being elevator music, which is wrong in my mind, because I think bossa nova is one of the most beautiful,
I agree.
you know, styles of music created. And this is just a very small introduction of something that people have heard a lot. So people like it when I do it because they know it.
Right.
But I just appreciate bossa nova and Jobim so much that, you know, I just keep doing this tune and just hope that people will fly with me.
Well, here's my theory on this.
Okay, I'm ready.
This is my theory, is that it's not an easy tune.
Oh, no.
And I think that's part of
Do you think that's it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I do. You know, I studied with Kenny Werner for a while. And
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Kenny had me doing this 2-5-1 exercise that was really, I mean, it changed the language in the way that I spoke it. But Kenny said to me, you know, okay, go off and do all 12 keys. Well, I came back and he said, well, start on G flat. And, you know, I started, and I did just that.
Right.
He said, yeah, you're not going to leave G flat. And it was like that for almost a year. I was in the JAs at the time. Like I was like that for a year.
Wow.
And like somewhere after a year, somebody called this tune on, and I got my eyes closed and I'm soloing on the bridge, and I opened my eyes and I'd see the band guys looking at me. And on the break they said, what? I've never heard somebody be so fluent. I said, well, I've been in the key of G flat for the last year, you know.
I think that actually G flat's a great key.
Oh, it is.
I love having the flats.
Yeah.
But if they were sharps, like if you said F sharp, my brain would go like this. I can't.
I agree.
Don't you agree?
I agree.
So we do this in E though, so that's always fun, right?
Yes, it is.
I know.
It is. No, it's fine. But why not F?
I know. People ask me that, but
I'm fine with it.
No. It's just like, well, first, I'm really very particular about keys. I'm that way with my students too. I just tell them, you know, and there's sometimes I do tell them, like, sometimes if you picked a really weird key for this, or maybe for the guitar it's weird or whatever. I mean, pianists, I always hope, you know, I'm like, they can do it. So I say, okay, go up to F. Sometimes I go up to F to people that I don't know, and I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable.
Right.
But I like E because just where it sits, it's just slightly lower than where it is. It hits me like up sort of close to where my head voice would be, but I don't have to actually get into it. And that little tiny half step makes that difference. Sure. It's crazy.
Well, and for me as a piano player, it's a different, brighter sounding key for me. So
E is.
In it being the kind of bossa nova that it is, to me, it lends itself so nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's I wanted to hear your answer, so thank
Oh,
you.
okay.
Folks, we're getting way into the interview way
Sorry.
before we're even there. No, I love
And
it.
if they
I
have
love
questions, have them ask questions. We will answer to the best of our
it.
ability.
You heard it here first, folks.
You know, I'm inviting this. That's okay.
Here we go. Girl from Ipanema.
Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Olha que coisa mais linda, mais cheia de graça. Ela, menina que vem, que passa, num doce balanço, caminho de mar. Moça do corpo dourado do sol de Ipanema, o seu balançado é mais que um poema, é a coisa mais linda que eu já vi passar. Porque estou tão sozinho. Porque tudo é tão triste. A beleza que existe, a beleza que não é só minha, que também passa sozinha. Se ela soubesse que quando ela passa, o mundo sorrindo se enche de graça e fica mais lindo por causa do amor. Mais linda, mais cheia de graça, ela menina que vem, que passa, num doce balanço, caminho do mar. Moça do corpo dourado do sol de Ipanema, o céu balançado é mais que um poema, é a coisa mais linda que eu já vi passar. Porque estou tão sozinho. Porque tudo é tão triste. A beleza que existe, a beleza que não é só minha, que também passa sozinha. Se ela soubesse que quando ela passa, o mundo sorrindo se enche de graça e fica mais lindo por causa do amor. Por causa do amor. Por causa do amor. Por causa do amor.
Yeah. That's such a beautiful song. Thank you. Thank you. Well, folks, and Rena up in Lancaster says, even lovelier in Portuguese.
Oh.
And Stephen San in Centerville says, Sarah, have you ever performed at the Mainstay in Rock Hall?
I haven't. I'd love to. I heard that it's a really super awesome venue, and it's very intimate.
It
so
is.
when music
Yes.
comes back, I would love to.
Yeah.
Centerville's beautiful.
Yeah.
I haven't been up
Well,
there.
it's in Rock.
Or is it Chester? I'm sorry. Forgive me. Where is it?
Actually,
Is it
the main
Chester?
stays in Rock Hall.
Rock
but
Hall.
Stephen lives in Center.
Got it.
But yeah. Doug and Hilda Adams from Lewis, Delaware, enjoying the Great American Songbook. Thank you, Doug and Hilda, and welcome. Yeah, so here's the first part of our interview. Although we've been having such a great time talking.
Is that okay?
it's
I hope that's not annoying.
That's
or...
what this is about.
Okay.
That's what this is about. I ask everybody that comes through the door that because of the mission of Jazz Alive in the preservation and continuation of America's indigenous art form, and we're doing this through not only concerts and things like this, but really, really taking this music to our young people and to hopefully work with them in schools. I mean, we're a new organization, but we're trying to move as quickly as possible. And I think in this fall semester, with everything being virtual, I mean, there's a big need for us to be able to do something like this.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I ask everyone the same question, because we have young people watching. What is it that happened that made you say, is it one thing, is it several things that you just said, music is it, I have to do music? And more importantly, leaning, and I know you do, Broadway and all that kind of stuff, but you tend to go towards jazz. What is it that makes that happen?
Well, like you said, for me, it was sort of like an organic thing that starts from childhood, which is why it's so important and great that we have organizations like yours, Arts Alive, to encourage students to pursue parts of the arts that they enjoy. Because, I think that nurturing the artistic part of ourselves, because we all have it inside of us, we can all appreciate it. It's important to have like a part of your whole self. Like we learn how to read, we learn how to add, lots of practical things that we do. But I just think it makes us more thoughtful, well-rounded people if we can have an appreciation for music and writing and art and dance. So for me, I started piano when I was 5. And I took from a lady named Gilda Sadoff. And I took 1 year with her. She had a beautiful house, by the way, on the water, probably around here somewhere. Either St. Michael's, right. Oxford area, just beautiful home. Even as a 5-year-old, I knew that was a nice piece of real estate. So anyway, I studied with her. And then after that, I moved. I switched teachers for somebody who was closer in Easton. Although, isn't it funny to say, closer? Right. Closer. That's like so. Now I live where I do. I'm like, St. Michael's is not that far from Houston. So anyway, and her name was Nina Ingram, and she had this huge reputation because she was a Peabody graduate and studied with really great teachers up there. So at the time, in the 80s, that was like kind of like big stuff. So she had a huge studio of students, and I studied with her from when I was 5 until I was 18. She even moved to Annapolis, to an assisted living place, and I drove all the way to Annapolis. My grandfather would drive me over the bridge every Friday after school to have a piano lesson. So at that point, in terms of like doing music, it was just something that I always did. My mom said you have to take 5 years of piano, and if you want to quit after, you can. But by then you've reached the age of enjoyment, so then kids want to keep going, which is why it's like if you can hang on till you can do what some of the bigger kids do, you can really find real enjoyment with kids. And so it's like, what are you going to do in college? And I thought, well, I'm just going to go to liberal arts school so I can get an everything degree. Does that still exist? It does, right? But I wanted to major in piano because it's just kind of like what I knew how to do. I played for the choir at Easton High School. I loved it. Played in some little pit orchestras, and I just figured I'd do that. I don't want to say best, but I knew how to do it.
Right.
So I went to St. Mary's for piano and studied with Brian Gans there, who's just, need I say anything else about that man? He's just like,
right.
Just one of the most musical people on the planet. So that was a real pleasure, and that's kind of what happened. And then grad school happened. I just thought, I need some more time. So I lived at home for a year with my mom here in Easton, and just worked, waited tables. I taught at the Academy of the Arts. I had worked I actually played piano at a dance studio downtown.
Wow.
which was fun. Have you ever done dance accompanying?
Yes. Yeah.
I'd never done it, and it was just bizarre because you can't retard.
Right.
The teacher's like, "Oh, Sarah, it makes the girl's feet go like this. You have to be just like this." You know what I mean? To like never retard.
Right.
No expression whatsoever.
Right.
Right. So anyway, and then after grad school, they gave me a couple more years to do piano, and then I decided I didn't want to play piano anymore because it was stressful. It's a lot of pressure. Like there's so many notes. You know this, right?
Right.
Like we can hide, as a pianist, you can hide a lot of things because we do have a lot of notes. We're not like trumpet players where if you're wrong, everybody knows, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And when I went to graduate school at the University of Cincinnati College-Conservatory, which was a great school, I learned a lot. So much.
Right.
But it was really stressful, and I thought, I can't make a living playing. I just can't do it. It stresses me out, like
Right.
being wrong. I was a vocal accompanying major, so I played for a lot of singers. It was a lot of repertoire.
Right.
Lots of arias, art song. It's just like so much.
Right.
So I said, I don't want to do it. And so then I thought, well, a friend of mine said, you could sing in the Army chorus. And I was like, what? And so I auditioned just because I didn't know what to do. I was going to work at the Gap, which was fine. I didn't care. Just not piano.
Right.
And I got that job. So I got there and I sort of like took over the spot of singing some of the popular jazz things with the concert band.
Right.
And that's just what happened. I always loved this repertoire, but I didn't really sing it. I didn't really sing. I was just I shouldn't say just. I was a pianist first.
Right.
So that's kind
Wow.
of the long answer.
No, but that's very, very interesting. Wow. Yeah, it's, when you say hide, I as some of the people that are signed in here know, I'm such a stickler with myself, with harmony. And so for me, I can't hide. And yes, that does make it stressful, And I think that one of the important things, especially, if we can impart anything on our young folks that are listening here, is that the preparation for all of this is what really gets you past that moment of. But also in that classical realm, that's such a cutthroat thing for piano players. I totally understand. For the little bit of time when I was doing the workshops for the next show for the Three Male Tenors, and being in New York with all of the different piano players that go in and do this, and I'm watching them, and they're basically making this stuff up as they go. But the minute that I played anything that wasn't on that page, the minute I went to my jazz thing,
right.
Oh, you can't do that.
Right, because they know like need this. every note is pre-decided for you, which there's some pressure taken off of you because it's already there.
Sure.
So you have to read it. But if I go ahead and play like something from like Schumann, Die schöne Märchen or something.
Right.
Was it Schubert or Schumann?
Yeah.
It's been a long time, forgive me. I can't remember now. I blocked it out, I guess. But if you play one wrong note, everybody in the audience knows. They're like, ooh, like, or like, ooh, she didn't. Do you know what I mean? So in grad school, I tried to pick anything that nobody did. I literally just said, you know what? Has anybody done this like in a long time? Like, I don't think people know this. I'm going to do that. Like, that was exactly what it was supposed to sound like.
That's
so,
great.
yeah, that was my strategy.
Well, let's get back to playing some here.
Yeah.
I think we have Dream Dancing is next. Is that?
Yes. This is a song that I heard of from Paul Langosh, who you have an episode with. The first one, he was the first one. And I met Paul, I think when I got out of the Army in 2007. I remember being sort of nervous because I was playing just with Jay Cooley, a great pianist in the D.C. area. And he said to me, he's like, do you mind if I invite Paul Langosh? And I said, you mean Tony Bennett's bass player? And I said, first of all, we don't have money to pay him. He's like, oh no, he's just from off the road with Tony. He just wants to play. And I was like, So, of course I wasn't going to say no, but the whole time I was just like, kind of freaked out. But he's like the nicest person. And we play a lot together. And he recommended this song.
song,
He and
yeah.
Jay.
Yeah.
And it's not as well known as some of other, because it's not from a musical. It's from a movie. And
You'll Never Get Rich.
You'll Never Get Rich.
1941.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the version that I really like listening to is the Tony Bennett, Bill Evans
right.
duo album we were
Right.
talking about.
Well, here we go, dream dancing. And by the way, Paul was the first one that told me that you played piano. I didn't know until he said something, and
Really?
he said she's a much better piano player than she thinks she is.
Oh my gosh. Paul, too much. Checks in the mail. When shades enfold, the sun sets gold, and stars are bright above again. But I smile, sweetheart, for then I know I can start to live again, to love again. 1, 2, 1, 2. When day is gone and night comes on, until the dawn, what do? I clasp your hand and wander through slumberland, dream dancing with you. We dance between a sky serene and fields of green sparkling with dew. It's joy sublime whenever I spend my time dream dancing with you. Oh, dream dancing, oh, what a lucky windfall, clutching you, touching you all the night through. So say you love me, dear, then let me make my career dream dancing, to paradise prancing, dream dancing with you. When day is gone and night comes on, until the dawn, what do? I clasp your hand and wander through slumberland, dream dancing with you. We dance between a sky serene and fields of green sparkling with dew. It's joy sublime whenever I spend my time dream dancing with you. Oh, dream dancing, oh, what a lucky windfall, clutching you, touching you all the night through. So say you love me, dear, then let me make my career dream dancing,
That's
Thank
such
you,
a
Fred.
great tune. No, thank you. It's not one that's played often enough as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Well, next, Autumn Leaves.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Autumn Leaves. Anything you want to say about it?
Well, you know what? Yeah, actually, you know what? I think I will. If that's okay. Let me get it up real quick. Autumn Leaves. So, so Dream Dancing and Ipanema and Autumn Leaves are three tracks that I recorded on my CD. Oh, shall I?
Yeah, shall we show it? Show it to the folks. Yes.
Okay. It's called Daydream A Little, and I don't know, I just like to daydream all day. Right now I'm just watching a lot of Netflix, me and my kids. But anyway, it's called Daydream A Little, and actually Paul was the producer for this.
Oh, wow.
He was the one that said, you know, Sarah, you should totally do a CD. And I was like, it costs so much money. La, la, la. And so I had a really nice patron that helped me out with that. So he said, what do you think about recording it with True to Pause? And I was like, excuse me? Like the same thing when somebody said, do you want Tony Bennett's bass player to play with you? So I had heard of them in college. I actually heard, the first time I heard them was actually at Cincinnati. I heard True to Pause with Diane Reeves.
Oh, wow.
And so Homero Lubombo, the guitar player,
Right.
is her guitarist on the road. And I just loved them, and I was just listening to all their CDs the whole time. So when he said that, I was like, that's kind of impossible. Like, we don't know them. Like, who am I? So anyway, I guess he called him up. Just sometimes all it takes is a phone call.
That's right.
Yeah, and money.
Yep.
And money. So we hired them to record with me on several of the we do a lot of bossa novas on here.
That's great. They're such a great group.
Oh my gosh.
They really
and,
are.
you know, they've been together since the 80s, and it's, you know, when you have people that you work with you know, you've been with your trio for several years, and it's like a really great organic relationship. So when we went in, I didn't really take arrangements. I just thought, who am I to tell these guys what to do? I said, here's my key.
That's great.
That's it. I think maybe one of them, we had like one little baby intro in, the rest of it was just them, and I just fit in.
Right.
So before we met, I drove up to Homero's house. He lives up in New York. And I said, if it's okay, I'd be happy obviously to pay you to just go through a few tunes with me before we have the rehearsal and the recording. So because we just did the rehearsal one day, the next day we went to the studio, and that was it. So I just wanted to work with him. And he's just an amazing person, an amazing player. Just music just comes out of his the tips of his hair. And this is what I went up there to sing with him. I was so nervous. You know, you go into his house and you can see all these records that I have at my house that he played on. I was like, oh. But he was very generous.
That's
very
great.
Sweet. So anyway, the Autumn Leaves, I like to sing it in French. Because it was originally from a poem by Jacques Prévert called Les Feuilles Mortes, which means dead leaves, which doesn't sound super romantic.
No.
But it's actually beautiful. And if it's okay, I'll just translate the verse. Actually, I'll translate all of it. Do I have time? Just real
Sure.
quick?
Yeah. I mean, we're kind of telling your story between tunes, so
okay.
I'm going to just kind
Is that
of
okay?
go with the flow here. That's
okay.
cool. No,
People can type in and say, "Oh my gosh, Sarah, just sing something." So anyway, I'll translate it. Oh, I'd like you to remember the happy days when we were together. And at that time, life was more beautiful and the sun shone more than today. The dead leaves collect themselves in the shovel. And I'll just say, that doesn't sound romantic, but it's a French expression that anything se ramasse à la pelle, collects itself in the shovel, it means it's very heavy. So dead leaves, it's like, which actually aren't that heavy, but it's like there's a lot of sadness there.
Sure.
You see, I can't forget the dead leaves collect themselves in the shovel, the memories and the regrets too. So this person's really just, I remember things, it was bad, I'm sad, and the memories and the regrets too. And the wind of the north brings them into the night, into the cold night of forgetfulness. You see, I haven't forgotten the song that you sung to me. And so then the verse, which, as you know, with Nat King Cole, it's still pretty sad.
Right.
It's not quite as sad as this.
Right.
So it's a song that reminds me of you. You who loved me and I who loved you. And we lived together. You who loved me and I who loved you. Mais la vie sépare. But then life separates those of us who love each other sweetly and without a sound. Oh, and the sea erases on the sand the footsteps of the separated lovers. So you have this natural scene of like remembering we used to be together, but nature just kind of, the water takes it away and it's not there anymore. So it's definitely a sign of loss. So I never sing this as a hard swinging tune.
Yeah, no, after hearing that, I never want to now.
Have I ruined it?
Oh, no. I mean, I feel that way about a lot of tunes. Like My Romance, when I listen to the words to that, I'm like, I don't ever want to play it anywhere but a ballad. So
yeah, and that's a good point because when you're an instrumentalist and you learn something, but you don't necessarily know what the words are yet, it takes a little bit of context out of it.
Yes.
So I think it's good to play it as the style that you're asked to do, but then also think about what the original text is. So it just makes us more aware.
Definitely.
So anyway.
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, je voudrais tant que tu te souviennes des choses rares où nous étions amis. En ce temps-là, la vie était plus belle. Les souvenirs et les regrets aussi. Les feuilles mortes se ramassent à la pelle. Tu vois, je n'ai pas oublié. Les feuilles mortes se ramassent à la pelle. Les souvenirs et les regrets aussi. Et le vent du nord les emporte dans la nuit froide de l'oubli. Tu vois, je n'ai pas oublié la chanson que tu me chantais. C'est une chanson qui nous ressemble. Toi, tu m'aimais et je t'aimais. Nous vivions tous ensemble, toi qui m'aimais, moi bruit et la mer à force sur le sable, les pas des amants, les pas des amants, les pas des amants, des
You know, let me put you on the screen too.
Oh, no.
I really, I love playing a tune up tempo, but it's a whole different tune then.
Yeah.
You might as well say, okay, I'm going to play a tune that kind of has the melody to Autumn Leaves, but it's not going to be anything like it. I mean, it's just beautiful, beautiful. Ah, thank you.
Beautiful solo. It was beautiful.
Thank you. My favorite things, Destinado, where would you like to go?
You know what? Let's perk it up. Let's
Okay.
brighten up for Destinado. Let's do it. Is that okay? To
Which
do
one?
another? Destinado. Can we do
Okay.
that?
Yeah.
Unless somebody types in, oh, don't miss favorite things. If somebody types it in and says do it, we'll do it. Otherwise, I want to pick it up a little bit. But Destinado is one of my favorite Joe Beam tunes. I love it because if you'll notice, bossa nova fans, there are a lot of English translations to these tunes, and a lot of them have basically the idea of the translation, but it's definitely an English interpretation. And this one is, this came out when the bossa nova sort of was coming out, and people were kind of like, who is this Joe Beam character? What is this music? I don't like it. It's kind of out of tune. It's kind of off key.
Right.
And so in the tune, he's kind of like, I might be off key, but, I'm singing from the heart, and this is who I am. So, you can criticize me, but I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to be doing, which is admirable because it's easy to give up when people are like, kind of shooting you down a little bit, or you perceive that to be, But Joe Beam kept going, and I'm sure glad he did because,
there's not a program without him.
Oh, no, no.
Ed says, wonderful rendition of one of my favorite songs.
Aw.
Sarah, Fred, I would butcher it. I'm sorry, Rena. She says merci, but there's something before it, and I'm not going to even try.
Oh, okay.
To Tresjol.
Très joli?
Yes.
Very pretty. Oh no, we have a French speaker. Oh
yes.
I'm going to get all blushed up.
Rena speaks many languages.
Oh, that's incredible.
She's very, very...
Cosmopolitan.
Yes, but she's gotten me a lot of gigs. I mean,
that's awesome.
She's like.
Let's thank her.
You need to hire this trio. Yeah.
Yes, call us.
Thank
call
you,
us,
Rena.
and she can come up and sing a tune with me in French.
Yeah, there you go.
Or even better, I always love recommendations of tunes from people.
There you go, Rena.
Please.
There you go,
do.
Rena. Now you know what to do. All right, so here we go. Destinado by Antonio Carlos Jobim.
Yes. It's kind of like a brighty samba, like. Is that cool? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Se você disser que eu desafio o amor, saiba que está me provoca imensa dor. Sou privilegiados, tenho ouvido igual ao céu. Eu possuo apenas o que Deus me deu. Se você insiste em classificar meu comportamento diante musical, eu mesmo mentindo devo comentar que isto é bossa nova, que isto é muito natural. O que você não sabe nem sequer pressente é que os desafinados também têm coração. Fotógrafa, você não la mina håleflex. Have I lost a sua enorme ingratidão? Só não poderá falar assim do meu amor. Ele é o maior que você pode encontrar. Você com a sua musiquez, que sempre te pá. Aqui no peito dos desafinados, no fundo do peito bate calado. Aqui no peito dos desafinados também bate coração.
I was interested to see what changes you had on there, because this song can go in so many different directions, and there's always arguments about which are the right changes. But yeah, I love those.
Yeah, those are from Wayne Valence.
Yes, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Stephen in Centerville, Maryland says, "Imagining Stan Getz in the background."
I would be.
Would be
a little sweaty. Be a little sweaty. Well, hopefully, we have honored him.
Yes.
In some way. So yeah.
Where are we headed next?
So shall we? I don't know. Should we do ballad? No. Do another perky one and then a ballad. What do you think?
Another perky one.
Another perky one. All right. We'll do When in Rome. I like to do songs. You know, one of these days. How about this, Fred? For the next show that we do, if people hire us, we should definitely do a show with tunes about traveling.
Sure.
I love that. I like to do this one. I like to do Come Fly With Me. That's one of my favorite tunes. I like to do Rhode Island Is Famous for You.
Oh, yeah.
I did that with the band, in the concert band when I was in the Army. And there's a lot of, states that they mention a lot. There's a lot of words.
Right.
And I'm going to be honest about this. The first time I did it, I was kind of nervous, and it was pretty much committed to memory, but I kind of wrote down the states. Copper comes from Arizona, peaches come from Georgia, and lobsters come from Maine. So I kind of had the mic out like this, and I kind of like wrote it here, and like my jacket, the jacket comes down like this, and I did that, and I was like, I did great. I got through it. So it was the first night. This little tiny kid at the end of the show, we always go out to the audience and meet with veterans and families of veterans and just supporters of the armed services. And this little tiny kid came up to me and he said, "Lady, did you write your words on your own?" And I was, out of the mouths of babes, right? So I tried to be like very adult about it, and I'd be like, "Yeah," but no, I said, I did. Right there, I did it. I'll never do that again. I thought I was being really slick about it, but no, I didn't.
But the older I get, we had this conversation. Is that I know most of these tunes, but I still want the sheet in front of me because there becomes that time, and I would rather be, if someone needs to say why is he using the music, I'd rather have that than get into the middle of the song and draw a blank.
That's one reason why I quit playing solo piano. So I went from a piano major at St. Mary's College, which I still love and miss with all my heart, and I went and got a piano accompanying degree in graduate school because I never had to memorize anything,
right.
Which is a horrible reason to pick a degree, by the way, because it's a whole other major and a whole other skill. It's so amazing what you don't know when you're in your early 20s.
Right.
But I never had to memorize anything, and then now that I'm playing more. And I've taken some lessons with folks around town, and they're like, "You don't know any tunes," which is true. Like playing wise, I don't. Like right. So when I accompany myself, I'm always staring at something because, as a classical player, you're so used to just read it, and then instantly you have all this stuff. But like I struggle through LOVE, and I'm not kidding. Like seriously.
Well, that tune goes in a different direction anyway.
I know. So thank you. So I have like.
It's
not the worst.
If I don't do it often enough, there's no way I'm going to fake it because I know I'll take you in a different key.
Really?
And,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like,
you'll be looking at me like,
Yeah, I'll do it in F. I'm like, okay, F major, okay. And then the G7.
Right.
Like, I miss it every time. And I'm like, what? B. You know what I mean? So it's all a learning process. But anyway, back to this tune. When in Rome is a favorite travel song of mine. And it's I love Blossom Dearie. I don't know if you guys at home like her, but if you have to check her out, I love the way she plays. Super tasteful,
right.
Comping, never gets in her own way, has this sweet, like, high voice.
Right.
Although it sounds high, but she sings in lower keys than I do. It's
right.
bizarre. But anyway, she sings this tune, and it's about traveling, which we all will do again someday. Sooner rather than later, I would hope, when things get safe. And she goes to Europe, and she's like, when in Rome, we've all heard that. Oh, we try the food and the culture. And she's sort of like checking out the locals and her boyfriend's at home. So she's not being too good. She's like, oh, well, this guy looks nice. I'm just going to hang out with him because I'm in Rome right now.
Right.
So don't do this in real time. But it's a cute tune. Have you been to Europe? I'm sure you have.
Oh, yes.
Were you stationed in Europe ever?
No.
In the beginning? Okay.
No, just toured.
Just toured.
Yeah.
Did you go with the Jays to Europe? Or?
Yeah, we did my very...
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stop you.
That's right. No, my second tour with the band was all of the festivals in Europe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did all of that.
What was your favorite?
Probably Nice. Mm-hmm. Montreux was just so... There was so much involved.
Crowded.
With that. Yeah. I mean, Montreux was beautiful.
Beautiful.
But, No, I've been back several times in different tours, but I was never over there for any length of time I would like to, but yes.
I'd love to go back.
Rome would be nice.
I've never been to Italy, so
yes.
Maybe.
There we go.
Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. When in Spain, for reasons I don't I lie to you prettily. Don't think of me bitterly. You know that I'm true. Said now and then in Rome, I get that old yen in Rome. Well, naturally, when in Rome, I do as the Romans do.
What a fun tune. You know, that whole thing where it's like you're landing a jet. It's very,
I love that
cool.
though. Isn't that more fun?
Yes.
I mean, not when you're on a real plane, but you know.
Yeah. Ballad?
Yeah. So I picked That's All, but do you want to do a Time for Love?
Sure.
You rather do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're both my favorites. I really like. But I say that about every ballad. I really do.
Oh, really?
But I'd love to hear you do a Time for Love.
Let's do it. Let's let you have pianist choice. You know, how often do pianists get to choose?
Yeah, right. There you go. Here's Johnny Mandel. This is A Time for Love.
A time for summer skies, for hummingbirds and butterflies, whose tender words will harmonize with love. A time for climbing hills, for leaning out of windowsills, admiring the daffodils above. we've been dreaming of. As time goes drifting by, the willow bends, and so do I. But oh, my friends, whatever skies above, I've known a time for spring, a time for fall, but most of all, a time for but most of all, a time for
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wonderful selection, says Steve and Laurie up in Easton.
Oh, thank you.
Time has gotten away from us.
Oh my gosh.
And it's been so wonderful. I need to thank a few people here. First of all, I'd like to thank Janet and Lou Russo up in Nutley, New Jersey, who sponsored Will Ross, who attends Easton High School here in Easton, Maryland.
Awesome.
Will plays trumpet in the concert marching and jazz band, junior all-shore band, and the mid-shore community band. And
He's
also,
busy. Wow.
Yes, and he also plays piano
Awesome.
for students that go to Solo and Ensemble Festival.
Oh, that guy does everything.
Yes,
All
he
right,
does.
give him a hand.
Yes. Thanks, Will. And next, I'd like to thank Sherry and John Zimmerman, longtime friends of my family, from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. And these are three of your two brother and sister, Charlotte and Tucker Newman. Charlotte is a flautist in the Easton Middle School Band.
Yeah.
And Tucker, trumpeter.
He was in the Easton Middle School Band. He did that in middle school. He's about to go to high school.
All right.
Yeah. I wanted to highlight some awesome students here.
Yes. No, thank you for Sherry and John for sponsoring these passes. Folks, if you'd like to sponsor passes in the future, just get in touch with me at Jazz Alive, and we'd be happy to make it happen. The final student that was sponsored, Shannon
Zappala. She's a senior vocal major at Towson University. She has studied with me for 4 years, and it's her last year. She's doing a great job. She's a vocal jazz voice major at Towson University. We have a great jazz department with Dave Ballou, a trumpet player, trumpeter, holding it down. So we're about to get back started, virtual learning. And
Jim, who's the assistant.
Yeah, and
he's going to be a guest here in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so,
Jim is great trombone player. It's a great department.
Rena says, thank you both. Enjoyed the program tonight. Well, thank you, Rena. We're going to do one more for you. What would you like to do?
Shall we do, Latin or swing? You pick.
Let's do one at samba. I'd like to
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I'd like to hear you do it.
Let's do it.
This is Antonio Carlos Jobim's one-note samba.
Oh, my gosh.
There.
Oh.
How about now? Yeah, sorry about that.
Did we lose sound on the last dude?
I think we did.
Do we need to do it
Sound
again?
dropped off. Yes, here we go.
Do it
We're
again?
Gonna do it again.
Oh, really?
We're going to do it. It was so great the last time, though. Man, you should have heard us.
You know what?
This is great.
This is what happens. This is like the encore. They liked it that much.
Here we go. We're going to do it one more time.
All
Sorry
right,
about
all
that,
right.
folks.
So they just stared at a screen for a while. That no big deal. This is just a little samba built upon a single note. Other notes are about to follow, but the root is still that note. Now the new one is the consequence of the one we've just been through, as I'm bound to be the unavoidable consequence of you. There's so many people who can talk and talk and talk and just say nothing or nearly nothing. I have used up all the skill I know, and at the end I've come to nothing or something nothing. So I come back to this one note, as I must come back to you, and I'll pour into that one note all the love I feel for you. And it may cause say a samba, and it was a lot to do for a man to sing a true note. Let him sing the note he knows. There's so many people who can talk and talk and talk and just say nothing or nearly nothing. I have used up all the skill I know, and at the end I've come to nothing or something nothing. So I come back to this one note, as I must come back to you, and I'll pour into that one note all the love I feel for you. And he make us say a samba, and it was a lot to do for a man to sing a true note. Let him sing the note he knows. For a man to sing a true note, let him sing the note he knows. For a man to sing a true note, let him sing the note he knows.
There we go.
Yay!
Sorry about that, folks. Lou says, yes, back. Fred, we love, yes, encore, perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that, folks. Sara, once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It was
Have
my
you again
pleasure.
sometime soon.
I'd love that.
And folks, next week we've got Lee Pilzer joining us. There we go. Lee will be with us next week. You know what to do. Thank you so much, folks. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.